Alright, this video I'm going to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse because this is another situation here. So, yesterday we did the thing about Sunday's massacre and we thought it was connected to this guy, but come to find out it wasn't. It was just some lunatic running from the police that drove through that parade and killed them people in that. Okay, it goes to show you this country and what is going on is there's problems, and there's serious problems. Which brings us to this Kyle Rittenhouse thing. I remember when all of this happened, took my wife to the doctor's office, and because of COVID and whenever all this happened, for some reason I sat in the parking lot in the car waiting for her to go in for her appointment. So I was sitting there with the phone going through YouTube, and that's when I seen the first news reports of what went on with this individual. And again, it's all clouded, protests, he had a gun, he shot somebody, and there was no clear thing. And the way it was reported during the trial was confusing to me too, that he went to this protest. They didn't specify that he went there with a friend to guard their car lot from vandalism. Okay, so he was not down there to protest, he was not down there to cause trouble, he was guarding private property, which, as we see the police and everything else, as our society breaks down, this is the job of law enforcement. But when your government fails you, the local government, whatever, yeah, you gotta protect yourself, okay? And that is the right of an American citizen to defend their private property. Not to say whether this guy was right or wrong, the court said that he's not guilty of any of these charges, and I believe that, okay? These people were armed, attacked him, and he defended himself. Simple as that. Well, now it turns into this protest, and I'm looking at these different protests, and I mean, they had it to where they had the National Guard ready and everything, and everybody is totally against this, and one group of people are saying that it's all racially motivated, okay, which, when everybody involved was white, I kind of don't see how it's racially motivated. But I guess the argument comes that where this is white supremacist, vigilante, terrorist or whatever, running amok, doing whatever they can and getting away with it. Okay? And again, a lot of these protests revolve around criminals. Okay? Criminals committing crimes. In the commission of the numerous crimes they've committed, much like our friend who drove the SUV there has a damn rap sheet, he was supposed to be locked up, okay, on Veterans Day. Most of the criminals kind of go about doing their criminal thing, and when they're stopped by the police, this becomes some sort of racial prejudice, okay? And this is where you have this group of people who are basically out there saying that if you're a white person that minds your own damn business and defends yourself or something, that you are now a vigilante white supremacist out to oppress minorities, and then our whole system, our justice system, is set up and corrupt and evil and wrong. Okay, so it's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it, where I live here, in the Greensboro, the Triad they call it, Greensboro, Winston-Salem area. All right, they had a thing a week or two ago where they had a record number, like 8 or 10 shootings in one day, okay, between Winston and Greensboro. And what's happened is the mayor, the one gun show we had at the city arena, has been banned. They bought the rights, and now the mayor says there will be no gun shows within the city limits of Greensboro. Okay, great. This is supposed to cut down on criminal activity. They had some rioting here during these protests back there. They tore up downtown, ripped it to shreds. And just there's restaurants and things down there. These businesses, they vandalized the hell out of them. And then now they got more shootings and killings in broad daylight. It looks like the old TV series, The Untouchables. Right in the main thoroughfare going through town at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They had some sort of shooting where they riddled this car with bullet holes, and it's out there. It looks like something from a movie. And there's more shootings and killings, and they get on the news and go, well, the chief of police, well, we don't know what we're going to do to stop this and that. Well, when you have people running loose believing that you will not do anything to them, no matter what brazen criminal activity, shooting, whatever, because if you take the steps to arrest them and stop them from committing crimes, this will trigger a riot and become a racial matter. You have undermined the security of the city, the citizens. You're neglecting your duty. Okay? Unfortunately, this is the situation our whole government's put in. We have to violate, in other words, to stop this blatant activity, we have to come down hard. Okay? And there's a lot of people manipulating. They want the citizens to agree to this. But see, once you agree to suspend things or come down hard, then whoever's in the background in power will use this emergency or just being pushed to the point where everything breaks down. Then you're going to have somebody in the background taking charge and doing God knows what. See, so the United States, in the way it is, has always been under attack for this. And unlike other countries like the Soviet Union, where anyone gives you any shit for any reason, you fling them into a prison camp for 20 years. Okay? That's how they control their societies. That's why crime, drug use, all this was not in that society. Because that society ruled by terror and fear and oppressing its citizens. Okay? We don't want to live in a society like that. But then again, you don't want to catch a bullet going down to the grocery store neither, okay? Or your kids standing there at front of school at the bus stop. That's when these people had these shootings, right when all the schools are letting out school buses, and then you're shooting up a main thoroughfare. One thing that gets me is whenever they have these riots, okay, they attack these stores. Like Chicago, they looted. San Francisco, they looted. And they go, I think it's Louis Vuitton or something, some kind of designer store. Okay, like Gucci or something like that. What the hell does a store like that have to do with racial injustice? High-priced, glitzy designer stuff. And why is it that whenever this happens, they attack these stores? Okay? Here in Greensboro, when they had the rioting downtown, way far away from downtown, there's a shopping center. And during the rioting at night, they tried breaking into several stores in the shopping center. There's jewelry stores, I think Macy's is there. There's several large stores there. They were trying to break into these stores during the rioting. Okay, now you have rioting being used for criminal activity. Because, like, who the hell wants all this designer stuff? They said it was, you go in there, I guess stuff's all extremely expensive. So yes, it's a large money loss, but I can't understand it. Okay, it's all nonsense. It has nothing to do with racial inequality or whatever. Raiding a Macy's store or a jewelry store or something, I don't understand it at all. And really, to me, it doesn't matter because they're not taking Carhartt and Levi's. All right, so I'll have clothes no matter how much looting goes on whenever I go to the store. But I think we're missing the point, and the point is there is a movement hidden inside our government, an enemy, that allows this to happen. Okay? If they're supposed to have all this technology in the Patriot Act and be able to know what I'm doing, what I do on the phone, listening to me while I'm sitting in my house, okay, they should be able to identify these organizations and stop them. The fact that they don't, and this goes on, and this is publicized in that, means that somebody running our government wants all of this to happen. And it is an attack on our system of justice, our whole government, and as our government breaks down, the more we persecute the police and the more these people are allowed to run around yelling and screaming racial inequality and this and that, when basically, the way I look at it, these people are committing crimes. Okay? If you're committing crimes and breaking the law is what you do to get by, I'm sorry, but, you're breaking the law. Yeah, so this nonsense of, being arrested for breaking the laws because it's a white supremacist, racistly biased system of government that is causing all this. And it does hamper and keep the police from doing their job. And look at it here. 8 shootings in one weekend. This is insane. And this looting stores as an excuse. How does, destroying a store and stealing the contents fight inequality? I don't understand that. Okay, I don't get that. I don't get the mentality. That's just anarchy and mayhem. And what happens is it's going to come to a point where this has to stop. Okay, you're going to have some sort of force or group, once the government fails, forcibly take over and restore order one way or the other. Okay? And that means an actual civil type of war, which is scary. Racially biased civil war. And people are going to die. That's just the long and short of it. And at my age, I don't need to see our society break down to that point. But if they don't change things and put a stop to this, I don't know where it's going to end up going. Because this is getting out of control with all this. Well, that's my thoughts on that. Stay tuned.